Join on in, join on in, join on in. Ooh, this is going to be spectacular. Ooh.
There we go.
Evan! Hey! How
I,
are you?
I was expecting the bachata music to start playing.
Listen, man, I'm telling you. I had to bring the DJ controller out because we're going to talk about why you're the DJ of content, man.
There. Okay. All right.
How have
I
you
like it.
been?
Good man. Good man. Happy. I don't even know what day it is. Happy today. Let's go.
International Podcast Day. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, welcome to the live edition of the Rhino Show podcast. It is International Podcast Day, so I have to bring you an amazing guest. Evan has been on our show previously. This episode is sponsored by Motion Grace Stand-Up Desk and Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Evan, welcome back, my man.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Let's
Canada
go.
in the house. Canada in the
Canada,
house.
baby, Canada. Listen, number one question we get asked on the business side of things is, how the heck do we create content consistently? How do you master this, Evan? I mean, systems, processes, businesses say things like, listen, Ryan, we've hired an in-house person. They got fired. We've tried an outbound company. It didn't work out. How do we manage to create content like Evan Carmichael on a consistent basis?
What I want to know is, how are you going to be holding that set the whole time? And does his arm get tired from holding up his DJ?
No.
Oh, snap.
All right.
So listen, I think the biggest thing is, if you want to stay consistent on your content, is pay attention to who you are serving instead of who you're not. People get caught up in, I don't have the right gear, I don't have the right phone, I don't know what light to use, I don't know what platform, and it's all excuses. It's all just fear talking. The biggest thing is, you're just afraid of putting up content, and one, nobody's seeing it.
Yep.
Or two, people seeing it and judging you and saying you suck because you have the wrong whatever, right? Because you're something went wrong, right? That's really, at the end of the day, we hide under, I don't know who to hire and I don't know what process. Like, the process is going to magically fix something. It's your fear of judgment. That's the only thing. And so the way around it is to, again, focus on who you are serving instead of who you're not. The game of who you're not serving never ends, right? I mean, I don't know, I'm at 3 million subscribers on YouTube. Why don't I have 5? Why don't I have 7? Why don't I have 10? Like, that game never ends. The thing that get me going, if you look at my journey, I've shared it on my homepage, on my website, where it shows my year over year growth.
Yes.
And it was like, guys, it was nothing. Like, 23 subscribers to then 90 something subscribers. It's like 5 years later, I have 7,000 people or something follow me. It's just, so why? Like, how do you keep going? How do you go for 5 years and you still haven't cracked 10,000 subscribers or followers? What keeps you going? Well, because I focus on the people who I was serving. That if we got 48 people watching here live, I love you guys. It's like the 48 people who are watching live, I want to serve, I want to help, I want to give as much as I can, because one, it makes you feel good because you know that the work you're doing is important. But two, the 48 take you to the 480 who take you to the 48,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest problem is we feel like what we do doesn't matter. You know, when you're making content and nobody sees it, you feel like what you do doesn't matter. And all of us want to wake up and feel like what we do matters. And so the more you can focus on who is showing up, like if you went and did a speech and 25 people showed up at a library or a YMCA, you'd be really nervous and excited, like, oh my God, 25 people, I gotta show up, I gotta deliver for these guys. But if 25 people like your thing on Instagram, you feel like a total failure.
Yes.
Just focus on the people who are in your community, give them love, give them support, fill them up, and it'll fill you up, and that gives you the motivation to keep going. I've done 11,000 something plus videos on my main channel.
I know.
Over 12 years, 13 years, something like that. So all in, all my channels, we've probably done 13,000 plus videos over 12, 13 years.
There's you know what? There's this thing, Evan, I call soulful currency account. And I preach it on my show because I believe in the soulful currency account. So people seem to value a lot of things by, vanity metrics. But let's say we're valuing things by how much money we're making. I'm like, listen, there's vibe currency, there's soulful currency, there's monetary currency, there's helpful currency. For you consistently, when I look at your site, because I've been there and I've looked at it, you had some really incremental hops, but you put in a lot of work and ate a lot of poo-poo for a while before you got that. How did you figure out, again, like, how did you keep consistent with depositing in your social currency account when sometimes it would get a little lonely, and maybe, I'm sure you've had doubt, you're a human being, but was there any one trick or one thing that you said, nope, keep going?
I had to remind myself of the value of what I did. And so now I'm spoiled, and you're spoiled. Like, you post something up, you're going to get comments, you're going to get love every day. People email you, DM you, say, Ryan, thank you, you changed my life, you impacted me. Like, that's beautiful. But that's a process, man. That didn't just happen. Ryan didn't just show up and now all of a sudden he's got his show and followers and etc.
Yeah.
So what I did was, and I did this before even YouTube, I did this when I was speaking, because, you know, when you speak on stage, it feels amazing. You're helping, you're vibing. It's like the greatest thing in the world. And then people come up to you after you and tell you what an impact it had. It's like you're on cloud nine. And then you wake up tomorrow and it's like, well, what am I doing? Where's the next speaking gig? And you like fall back down.
Yeah.
And that's really rough. So at the beginning, I might have spoken once a month or something. So how do I keep the energy between that? What I did was I would take all of the feedback that I got from people and the emails that came in, and I'd put it together in a PowerPoint file. And I would look at this PowerPoint file every morning. I put it to the soundtrack, I Will Go the Distance by Michael Bolton. It's like the Hercules song.
That's not bachata, though. That's not bachata.
No, we need a bachata version. I'm sure somebody's remixed that. Somebody's remixed that.
Come on.
Come on now. Somebody's done it. But I would watch that video every morning as a reminder of, hey, what I do matters to people. Because it's hard to wake up every day and feel like you matter. And so by the time I started doing YouTube stuff, I had already kind of ingrained that in. And dude, my first video, I had 3 comments in the first year. 1 year, 3 comments. And one was my mom, and one was my sister, and one was some other random person, right? I mean, now that video's done decently well because everybody wants to go back and like watch what the first video was. But there's still videos on my channel that have no comments that are however many years old. It's that, hey, if 38 people watch my video, I would tell myself, not that I suck, which is what most people tell ourselves.
Yes.
I would tell myself, 38 people watch this video, thank you. And one of those 38 people, maybe that was a life-changing moment for them. Like maybe this video was the one that actually pushed them forward. Whether that's actually true or not, that's what I would tell myself, because we default to thinking nobody cares. How about you default to thinking it's actually having an impact? And it just shifts your whole perspective, so that instead of wishing I had 3,800 people or 38,000 people, I'm grateful for the 38 I have. And that just gives yourself the permission to keep going and making more content.
Absolutely love that. You know what? It's interesting though. So for you, we talk a lot about niche and then we talk about broad. Full disclosure, because I think people give value, because this is a question that I still battle with as I'm creating content. I still have not niched down extraordinarily. I consider myself almost more lifestyle, where I love talking about entrepreneurship and motivation and inspiration. Now, I know that I'm going to grow slower because I'm going pretty broad. Now, if you pick a niche, you know, often we say, hey, you're going to grow a lot quicker. Evan, help me out here, because so many people have this question. Do we pick a niche? Do we stay broad? Because I'll be honest with you. I have a couple niches I love, but it doesn't feed my soul to just talk about that one thing. Help me out? What do I do here?
If it doesn't feed your soul, it's not the answer.
Yes. So that's why I go broad. That's why I chose to go broad.
But okay, but going broad necessarily isn't the answer either. The answer is to combine the things that you like together. Because if you're only doing one thing, most people think and I get this question, I'm sure you get this all the time, like, do I do this or this, this or this? It's like, no. And it's both of them. To combine those things together, right? Like if you love bachata music, then that should be in every show that you do. Like it's mixing your worlds together in a way that's never been mixed before. That's how you end up standing out. Because if you pick one or the other, you're always going to feel like, I wish I could spend more time here. And like, I don't want to just be pigeonholed and have to feel like I can only do this one thing. So it's in that combination. Embrace. And it doesn't mean you have to go so broad that then there is no message and there is no audience and you're targeting everybody. But what makes you unique is the combination of different passions that you have. And then in sharing that, like you could teach, like, again, I just come back to bachata and music because I know you like it.
Bachata, like, poppy, there we go.
But you could teach life lessons and business lessons through bachata music.
100%.
Talking about the origins of bachata, where it comes from, putting your soul into your art. Like you can use bachata music as the template, as the vehicle for all the stories that you share. And then if you play the music, most people don't even know. You put it on, they wouldn't even know what that is. Like it sounds like a Latin vibe, but they wouldn't know the name. You could tell the stories of the artists and tell the stories of the music. Have people get up at my Thought Leadership Academy, where I had people come to train how to be a thought leader for 3 days in Toronto. The first thing I had them do was dance bachata at the front of the room together.
Yeah.
People who had no idea how to dance, who had like, I have 2 left feet, I suck, I can never do this. We had them in a few minutes dancing some basic bachata moves with some turns, like some basic stuff. But why does, who cares? Well, because this whole event that I'm doing is about helping people get out of their comfort zone. Because to share your message on camera is scary. So I'm going to have you dance, because people are afraid of people who have never danced.
100%.
Super. So now you're forced to do it, right? And some of the guys that were like, man, my wife's been trying to get me to dance for 20 years, and I've always said no, and somehow you got me dancing in the first 5 minutes of being here in Toronto, right?
Yes.
So it's in that company. Now, why? That's not just a strategy, because I own a dance studio, because dancing is part of my life. It's how I met my wife. It's authentic to me. It doesn't. If somebody else tried to do it, it wouldn't work out. Because they can't even spell bachata. Right?
It's interesting though. So for instance, I do tons of brand consulting and coaching, and I thought about it. I'm like, listen, why when we're talking to people or companies about their brand, does it keep coming back to their life? And it's interesting because a lot of people aren't stepping in front of the camera or kind of even stepping into their own selves. You know, I'm a big proponent of living your full self on purpose, capital letters. Now, I call it brand life. So when usually we talk and we say, hey, why don't you want to get on camera? It's amazing how many reasons come back to us that is not even because of them. It's because of their sister or their mother or their dad or their childhood or this confidence. Now, you're a self-confessed introvert, right? How have you became this video master being the introverted person that you are, which I think is fabulous?
Because introverts still want to serve. This was the thing that really held me back, and I struggled a lot with, and I got into the most fights with my agent of all time, because he would say, Evan, your biggest problem is you don't want to be famous. Like, yeah, I don't. Well, why is that a problem? It's like, you don't crave attention. It's like, no, that's a problem. Why? It's like we fought. He's this hardcore New York guy. I just couldn't understand it. Because most people, when I look at my industry and you look at the people on TV and you see everybody else, they seem to be extroverted and type A personalities. Like, okay, that's not me. It wasn't until it sunk in, and it's me not hearing the message properly too. Because I used to associate, well, if you're famous, you have a big ego and you're a selfish person, and all of the stuff that I had to, unwind. But eventually at some point it sunk in where it's like, hey, the more people who know your story, the more your message gets out there. And so sharing your story and what you've been through is actually of service. It's selfish not to share your story.
Yes, absolutely.
And it took a while, like, what? That doesn't make sense. It took a while to make all those pieces flow. But introverts, I believe everybody wants to serve. Humans are built to serve, right? It's why I wrote Built to serve. If you're not happy, it's because you're not serving right now, right? Period.
Correct.
And some people want to serve the 25 closest people to them. And some people like Ryan and I, and probably people, listening, watching, you want to serve the world. You want to have a huge impact. You want to have a big reach. So that's a hard thing to balance of if you're introverted and you still want to serve, because here now, you're capable of more. You've got this heart's desire. You've got your capital P purpose, like you like to say, but you're afraid to get out there, and you associate fame or celebrity or whatever with ego and lack of service. So that's like gas on the brake, foot on the gas and the brake at the same time.
Yes.
So you have to let go of the brake, and let go in the brake is saying, no, I still want to serve. And the more people who know the message and know me, the more I can actually spread it. And then I still have to remind myself of it. It's still, every time I get on stage, every time I do some big event, I'm always reluctant. I'm always afraid. I'm always scared. And the two things I come back to, one is service, and then the two is that I do difficult things. That the fact that it's hard is not a good enough reason anymore. And sometimes I need more of the punch, and sometimes I need more of the hug. The hug is service. Like, hey, you're here to serve. You're here to help. I did a speaking gig with David Goggins was before me, and Peyton Manning was after me.
Oh,
I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I'm sandwiched between David Goggins and Peyton Manning. Like, are you kidding me? Like, total. And they flew me out. This is with Ed Milet and Andy Frisella's event.
Holy,
and people are paying $50,000 to $60,000, I think, to be in this group. Big fancy event out in Whistler, West Coast Canada, and I was terrified. I feel like, why am I here? I don't belong. What the heck am I gonna? You're going after David Goggins, who's like the most intense human alive, and then the greatest quarterback, alive. And the thing that helped me is I looked at the people in the room, and this was a smaller group, maybe 100 people, but they're 8-9 figure entrepreneurs. It's like, okay, I'm here to help them. Like, I'm here to serve them, and I can serve them in a way that Peyton Manning and David Goggins can't. And it was in leaning into the service that then got me out on stage to go do my thing. Right? So introverts still want to serve. You have a message. It means something. You want to help people. We all want to feel like our work matters and that today is going to matter to somebody else, introvert or not. And how does an introvert go off and win and have millions of subscribers? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Listen, I'm trying to get as much out of this time we have together, and it's interesting. Systems, your video systems, how you 3 videos a day on YouTube. It's amazing. I love what you did with Clubhouse, where you repurpose so well, and that's why I got the DJ controller, because you're mixing everything. Is there any hacks you could give our audience today on how to just get a great system of producing content, but also making the most of the content they're producing to get the maximized result from it?
Yeah, I just created this thought leadership success map that I wish I could share, but at the top is really your long form content. So start with whatever you want to make money doing. Show me the process of you doing it, right? So if Ryan Holtz wants to sell coaching, show me Ryan Holtz coaching. Where most people will default to doing interviews or doing thought leadership, or like you're just talking direct to camera, which is great. But if you want to sell coaching, show me you actually coaching. Take your current clients and coach them live, or take your prospects who've signed up for your list but haven't bought yet and coach them live. So whatever you want to make money doing, show me the process of you doing it. Understand that in thought leadership, the quality of a video is not the production quality. It's the thought quality, right? So if you're a photographer or you're a videographer, like, your stuff better be fly, better look killer, because that's your business. But if you're a coach or a speaker or have some other kind of business that's not related to multimedia, then it doesn't matter as much how it looks. It's about the quality of thought that comes out. And that's what people get caught up on. Like, I'm not hiring you to be my coach because of the third angle that you have on your video. It's about the fact that you changed somebody's life in that coaching video that I saw.
Great point.
So if you're trying to be a coach, that's what I would do. If we got aspiring coaches here, I would make a daily show on Instagram. Like, how does Evan Carmichael think? I'd make a daily Instagram show coaching people. I would book my guests from my current coaching clients to take them deeper. Because when you coach somebody who's already a customer, you get a chance to talk about your program without talking about your program. Right? Like, hey, we got Evan here. Evan's a part of my, mastermind group, and he's paying me X to be here. And man, Evan, great to have you. Right? Like, now you're talking about it. I'm probably going to say great things about you. We're promoting our program without you selling it. And also people who are on my email list, who are leads that we've already captured, that haven't bought yet, but it's a chance for them to get to know you. I would book them in ahead of time, do an Instagram live with them, cut the video very basically for YouTube to cut out all of the beginning stuff, because the beginning of even the beginning of this live, like I was waiting. I'm like, when's it going live? I'm fresh in it, I was like the second person in. But there's still the beginning of when you go live. You're like waiting and you're singing whatever. Like, that sucks for YouTube. So we cut that part out, and then we just flip it. Like, we're above each other here. We just flip it so you're on one side up, and now you got a YouTube video. Right?
I love that.
That's very basic editing. Like you either
Yes.
learn how to do that yourself or you hire somebody to help you. But that is like a few minutes of work per video. That is not a ton of work. And forget about lower thirds and music and intro and all the other stuff that people think they need. Because if you're making that content every day, you're going to start to blow up and start building it. Now, the repurposing part comes in. You have a long form show. How do we cut the clips? And you do this. I mean, you're taking the highlight moments from your podcast, and you have this channel. You've got your podcast channel.
Yes.
You know, so you're cutting the clips to go everywhere else. But that could be you, or it could be someone on your team. But you know, where's Ryan's highest content creation? It's at the show level. It's at the highest level, not sitting there cutting up clips. So the biggest mistake people make is overthinking their production and just not releasing enough. And then 2, creating content that doesn't map to them getting more business, like coaches are not coaching, right? And if you're a coach, the easiest thing to do is coach.
Absolutely.
Like you just show up and say, hey, how can I help? Right?
Yeah. It's so true.
You're going to get asked questions that relate, hopefully, to your business. Somebody's not going to come up and ask you, how do I make a cup of coffee or something, right? I mean, you're going to get asked things inside your comfort zone. And so people find it a lot easier to do coaching because, 1, you don't need a script. You don't need to memorize like your intro or anything. You're just showing up. And 2, it feels like you're helping somebody because you are helping somebody as opposed to just talking to the camera. Where it's even hard for me. Like I look at my camera, I'm just by myself in my studio, whatever. I used to have to picture somebody, like I'm thinking of a friend of mine and his face is the camera instead of the camera. But when you're coaching, you're like, if you asked me to make a video for your channel, it wouldn't be as good as us actually doing this because I can see you and see the reaction and vibe with Ryan, right? Makes a huge difference. So coaching, if you're good at coaching, like if you suck at coaching and don't want to sell it, then don't do this. But if you're great at coaching, it's the easiest type of content to make.
Love this. Evan, we're coming to the end of our time. Drop everybody your projects, where would they can find you, your book, everything as a show of thanks. Thank you.
Time flies when you're having fun, man. It's crazy.
It does.
It's like, what? How is it already up? Evan Carmichael, like wherever you guys are, wherever you're on social, I'm probably hanging out there. Just check out Evan Carmichael. The best thing you do is drop some love for Ryan. Like, where's the big, is it iTunes? Like, where do you want people to go?
Man, I got Spotify, iTunes. We started really getting some traction with our YouTube. We got Instagram. Check out the Rhino Show podcast. But our show.
Wait, hold on. What's the number one place that you want people to, like, what's the number one thing for you right now?
I would say right now, definitely iTunes. On the audio side,
iTunes.
You know, Instagram number 2.
How many
3.
episodes of this show do you have?
147, my man. 147.
My man Ryan has done 147 episodes of this show.
Yes.
If you're a repeat listener and found any value in what Ryan's done or any of his guests, or if this is your first time, you're like, hey, this Ryan guy, I like him. It takes 8 seconds to go to iTunes, look up his show, and just give a review. That stuff means
everything. Everything.
All the people leaving hearts right now live on Instagram, just pop over there, give them a review on iTunes. Because I'm a big believer in, you got to support the people who bring you up. Like if you've been listening to 18 episodes of Ryan and he's part of your routine, the easiest way to say thank you, sure, you can join his coaching program and you can buy his stuff, but like the easiest way to say thank you is just to go leave a positive review where it matters most. So it's like, sure, he's everywhere, but if the thing that he values most is iTunes, just take 8 seconds, go give him some love. It makes a big difference.
Evan Carmichael, thank you so much, my man. Everybody check out Evan. This is going to be repurposed in 16 million different ways. You are the man. Oh, Canada, Evan, take care, my man.
Let's go. Much love.
Take care, man. Much love, brother. Bachata, papi.
Ciao.
Ciao.